If you dabble in Indian cooking, you've probably got some in your pantry. I know I do. And I'll admit, I get a little buzz from seeing its vivid orange pigment, sampling its rich ginger-esque aroma that's laced with the raw mystique of the East Indies. But does it really do anything for your health? Welcome to Vital Signs. A healthy body, mind, and soul are vital ingredients to a happy life. So let's get healthy. I'm Brendon Fallon. We know that turmeric's been marketed as a catch-all cure for what ails you for years. No longer is it confined to the spice aisle of your Indian gourmet store. Now it's being hawked as an immune-boosting juice, an Ayurvedic inflammation-busting latte mix, an organic, sacred superfood powder. Yes, turmeric now has more forms than the IRS. But is it really all it's been hyped up to be? Remember to click that like button and subscribe to the channel. That way you won't miss future videos. For starters, we know that turmeric has an ancient link to Indian cooking, also Ayurvedic medicine. But did you know it's also used in traditional Chinese medicine? It's used to help blood circulation and many other things. That's turmeric. Now what about curcumin? Curcumin is a pigment extracted from turmeric. It's actually the curcumin that makes curries yellow. Curcumin is considered turmeric's most active ingredient. It's studies that have used extracted turmeric with high curcumin or studies that have used curcumin alone which have shown health benefits, like helping arthritis, lowering cholesterol, or reducing muscle damage for athletes. So this episode, though pegged to be about turmeric, is actually about curcumin. That's not to say that turmeric is nothing without curcumin, like the Beatles without Lennon and McCartney. No, I'm not saying that. One study found all of turmeric's components could inhibit fungal growth, and that's nothing to sneeze at. But curcumin is a heavy-hitting compound. You could say it's the MVP of the turmeric plant team. However, the amount of curcumin in turmeric powder is quite small, just around 3%. That's why those superfood, organic, sacred, supernatural turmeric powers may not work so much magic, because they just don't have enough curcumin. So let's talk curcumin and 7 wonders that it can work for you. First off, curcumin can reduce pain and inflammation. But why do we get inflammation? Let's dive into a little human biology. Inflammation is a defensive reaction of the body. It's activated by the immune system when the body gets infected by viruses or bacteria. So an acute, transient inflammatory response, one that kicks in and kicks out in good time, is a good thing. We shouldn't interfere with it. We should only interfere when the inflammation becomes excessive or even life-threatening. One example is giving glucocorticoids to people critically ill with COVID. Chronic inflammation, though, is quite a different story. Chronic inflammation is a forerunner to many chronic conditions: hypertension, heart disease, diabetes, cancer, dementia, organ aging, to name a few. So chronic inflammation can be a bad omen. This is where our magic compound, curcumin, comes in. Curcumin has an outstanding capacity for inhibiting NF-κB. What's NF-κB? Let me tell you. NF-κB is a protein complex that controls DNA transcription. And when we're talking DNA transcription, a lot of other processes like cancer formation, inflammation, and immune response are also brought into the mix. This is why curcumin is used to treat all kinds of chronic inflammation: arthritis, chronic pain, periodontitis, gastroenteritis, irritable bowel syndrome. Curcumin can be used to treat it. Point number 2 about curcumin: curcumin can prevent oxidative stress. In fact, it's an even more powerful antioxidant than astaxanthin, vitamin C, and vitamin E. And if you're a regular viewer, you know I do appreciate a good antioxidant. It's only natural that in the course of oxidation, the body will produce free radicals. On that note, let's zoom in to a little molecular biology. A free radical is a molecule with one or more unpaired electrons. So it's unstable. Like all of us, it wants stability in its life, so it's looking to score one or more electrons to balance itself out, which isn't a problem if there are enough antioxidants around. Antioxidants are happy to pass on electrons to free radicals. It's a win-win situation. But when there's not enough antioxidants, things can get ugly. That free radical, desperate to get stable, could steal an electron from an unsuspecting molecule. It could take it from a strand of your DNA and change or damage that strand's structure. Getting an infection, having a lot of mental pressure, having an unhealthy lifestyle can all cause this imbalance of free radicals and antioxidants, creating oxidative stress. This is where curcumin enters the picture. And yeah, it's true, curcumin can neutralize free radicals. But what it can also do is stimulate the creation of antioxidant enzymes, which, by the way, break down and remove free radicals. Suffice to say, curcumin, or should I say, curcules, is not your run-of-the-mill antioxidant. Here's a third reason to get excited about curcumin. It's a brain booster. It stimulates brain function. To put it in hefty scientific terms, it can stimulate brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF levels. BDNF is a protein that was first isolated from a pig brain in 1982 by two Swiss neurobiologists. But how does it affect my life, I hear you wonder? Well, this protein can enhance interconnection among your brain cells. It can also stimulate regeneration of brain cells. Curcumin has the ability to cross the blood-brain barrier and do what it needs to do in your brain. So it makes sense that it's in the hippocampus, the part of the brain that regulates memory and emotion, that BDNF mainly occurs. Speaking of memory, curcumin is used in the treatment of Alzheimer's. This disease involves both inflammation and oxidation, so curcumin's anti-inflammatory and antioxidant traits come into effect. This is part of how curcumin can improve memory. This is why it's used to prevent and treat dementia, Parkinson's disease, and other brain degenerative disorders. Now we come to curcumin's antidepressant effect. To set the scene for that, we'd better first talk about neurotransmitters. These are the messengers of the nervous system. They carry information across synapses from a nerve cell to its neighbor. And importantly, they can influence mood, thoughts, and also psychological functions. The neurotransmitters serotonin and dopamine have a powerful effect on mood. So if they're disrupted, it can be bad news for mood. This is where oxidative stress and curcumin come back in. Oxidative stress disrupts the way transmitters work. Yet oxidative stress can be mopped up by antioxidants. And curcumin is a powerful antioxidant. This explains in part why curcumin is used for depression and other mental illnesses. Maybe you're already itching to start bulk ordering curcumin. But wait, we're only up to benefit 5. Then there are the different types of curcumin. Not all curcumin is created equal. Some are more potent than others. But before we dive into that, let's talk curcumin and your cardiovascular health. Our all-star compound can bolster vascular endothelial cells, and these are of utmost importance to our health. When they're damaged, we can suffer all kinds of cardiovascular disease, like hypertension, heart disease, and vasculitis. What about from the traditional Chinese medicine standpoint? Well, TCM sees turmeric as promoting blood circulation. So from the west to the east, curcumin makes sense for cardiovascular health. Curcumin's anti-cancer effect is its 6th benefit. It works by inhibiting the uncontrolled growth of cancer cells that create tumors. This means stopping cancerous cells replicating, terminating the disease cells, and stopping these cells from spreading outward. Curcumin works on all of these fronts. Thus, it can inhibit multiple cancers. Curcumin can be a kind of safeguard for people at a higher than average risk of cancer. One study tested curcumin on people prone to rectal cancer. It showed the compound could lower the odds of getting this cancer by 40%. Curcumin's 7th benefit is about liver health. And a healthy liver means healthy metabolism. It's the liver that the body mainly relies on for metabolizing glucose, fat, and proteins. When metabolism falters, issues like obesity, hypertension, hypolipidemia, and diabetes tend to surface. So we need to keep the liver healthy. And what does curcumin do? You guessed it. Remember how curcumin inhibits NF-κB, to curb inflammation, to curb cancer, and so on. This effect is also crucial to liver health. Then, of course, there's curcumin's master antioxidant status, which is also important for liver protection and supporting metabolism. Curcumin helps lower blood sugar, lower blood lipids, blood pressure, and liver toxicity. Now you know why curcumin has pride of place in the Compound Hall of Fame. But as I said before you start stacking your online shopping cart, understand, not all curcumin is the same. The curcumin you buy has a mixture of 3 curcuminoids. One is just called curcumin, or C1. Another is dimethoxycurcumin, or C2, and the third is bis-demoxycurcumin, or C3. Of the 3, C3 is the most important for many curcumin uses, but its quantity is the lowest in the curcumin mixtures you buy. But you can compare before you buy to see which one gives you the most C3 for your buck. Something else to consider when shopping for curcumin is that it's better absorbed when taken with piperine and lecithin. Curcumin is sold as a herbal supplement and has relatively few side effects. At the same time, it should be treated as seriously as any other drug. It's not intended for permanent use. Proper dosage varies from person to person and should be adjusted in accord with your circumstances. If you suffer with coagulopathy, thrombocytopenia, or bleeding diatheses, then it's not recommended you take curcumin. Pregnant women are also advised against curcumin, as it stimulates uterine contraction. And of course, if you're taking other medicine, then its possible interaction with curcumin needs to be considered. You should consult your doctor for advice. So remember, if your goal is to knock up an exotically colored chicken tikka masala, then you can't go wrong with a little turmeric. But if you want to tap the raw health-enhancing power of that plant, then you want to hone in on curcumin. You can tell us all about your own experiences with turmeric and curcumin in the comments. I'm Brendon Fallon, and this is Vital Signs. See you next time.